आवाज से परे, मधुर साज से भरे, अंदाज में बुलाए बाबा, पुकार के बच्चे आओ। आवाज से परे, मधुर साज से भरे, अंदाज में बुलाए बाबा, पुकार के बच्चे आओ। सितारों से दूर, सितारों का जहां, रहता परम सितारा, बेहद सुकून वहां। सितारों से दूर, सितारों का जहां, रहता परम सितारा, बेहद सुकून वहां। बच्चे आओ, बच्चे नूर समंदर दिखता सुंदर, लहराए निरंतर, आनंदित अंतर। मौजों की मौज लेने का है समय, वो प्रेम डोर से खींचे वहाँ। जी भर निहार के लिए पंख प्यार के, हम उड़ चले। आवाज से परे, मधुर साज से भरे, अंदाज में बुलाए बाबा, पुकार के बच्चे आओ। राहें देखे बाबा, बाहें खोले, दिल से सुन ले, मृदुल स्वर में वो बोले। राहें देखे बाबा, बाहें खोले, दिल से सुन ले, मृदुल स्वर में वो बोले। कुर्बान करके आओ पुराना जान, सुन प्यार से पुकारे वो शिव क्षमा। जी भर निहार के लिए पंख प्यार के, हम उड़ चले। आवाज से परे, मधुर साज से भरे, अंदाज में बुलाए बाबा, पुकार के बच्चे आओ। हर पल तेरी ओर, हर पल तेरी ओर। स्नेह प्यार की तुझसे बाबा बांधी है जीवन डोर, बांधी है जीवन तुझको सदा ही देखूं, क्या से क्या बनाते हो, हर पल यही मैं सोचूं, हर पल यही मैं सोचूं। मन आंगन में अब तो बाबा, मन आंगन में अब तो बाबा, खुशियों के नाचे मोर, खुशियों के नाचे मोर। स्नेह प्यार की तुझसे बाबा बांधी है जीवन डोर, बांधी है जीवन डोर। स्वर्णिम युग की भोर, स्वर्णिम युग की भोर। स्नेह प्यार की तुझसे बाबा बांधी है जीवन डोर, बांधी है जीवन कि तुझसे बाबा बांधी है जीवन डोर, बांधी है जीवन डोर। दिल मेरा लगा ही रहता हर पल तेरी ओर, हर पल तेरी ओर। स्नेह प्यार की तुझसे बाबा बांधी है जीवन डोर, बांधी है जीवन डोर, बांधी है जीवन डोर, बांधी है जीवन डोर।
Om Shanti, good morning.
Om Shanti, sister.
Can you all hear me clearly, Brother Avina?
Yes, we can hear you very clearly. Thank you, Sister Pratiba.
Good. Wonderful. So we're in this little special place for the weekend and had to move around a few gadgets to get the Zoom going. So it just took a few moments, but it's good to be with everyone and to connect. Baba's Murli has been such a lovely continuation. When I think of 2 weeks back when Baba spoke about self-respect, and I really feel in some ways that our journey is about restoring our self-respect, because that is what gets eroded from the Copper Age onwards. And Baba very clearly put it across that it is really through self-sovereignty that we reclaim our self-respect. And then last week he spoke about happiness. And he said that when there is the experience of attainment and the ability to accommodate what Baba has given to me into my sanskaras in a way, then I experience happiness and contentment. And can you remember what are the 3 levels that Baba asked us to check on? He said first, are you happy with yourself? Yeah. And happiness with myself really means, am I happy with my efforts? And I think that when Baba speaks of happiness, it's really about that sense of fullness and contentment that Baba is saying. And I can only really be content when I can feel that I'm growing. Because any level of stagnation is what takes away the feeling of contentment. So to be happy with the self is really to feel that I'm moving. I'm not perfect, I know that, but I know and I can sense the progress that I'm making, and that gives the soul that kind of encouragement and enthusiasm and a way of moving forward. And then happy with the Father, that I feel that closeness to Baba. And then Baba said, are you happy with your service as well? That was the third aspect. So it's really that feeling that I'm not dependent on service for my happiness, but that what I am serves. And that's the change in formula that we need to do, because the subtle trap sometimes is we make service the means of our happiness, but actually what I'm being serves. And if I'm happy, it serves naturally and automatically. And can you remember what Baba said, the two things that takes away our happiness? Jealousy and getting disheartened. And so there's a deep connection between getting disheartenment and lack of self-respect. Because, and both jealousy and disheartenment comes through because my focus is on others. You know, subtle comparison, subtle competition with another, subtle criticisms of another. These are the things that actually invoke the sanskaras of jealousy and disheartenment. Both are, it's almost like two sides of the same coin that get triggered. And the root of that is I'm looking at others. And so today's Murli, I feel, is like a Murli where Baba's giving us the method. What is the method? And ultimately we know what is the method. Ultimately, it's soul consciousness, isn't it? The first lesson is always the last lesson. It is that lesson of soul consciousness. And one way of looking at soul consciousness is the focus is always me. And so today Baba is saying, like, the Hindi word for effort is Purusharat, and Rath means the chariot, and Puru means the being. So the being that is in charge of the chariot. So today Baba is offering us this method that to really become naturally yog-yukt and yukti-yukt, which means in a way that when I'm connected with Baba, then naturally the way I respond to everything around me is going to come from the influence of my remembrance of Baba. And so then I'm naturally yukti-yukt. But when my attention's away from the self and gets drawn to anyone around me or anything around me, then I'm operating on the influence of other things. And so Baba is saying today, you know, that if you yog-yukt, then you're free from influence. The influence of, firstly, your body. So when I practice being the charioteer of this body, then I'm free from the influence of my body. And secondly, I'm free from the influence of my senses. So how many of us were free from the influence of our senses last night when we had pizzas? You know, it's like how much of my thinking and how much of my attention and focus is drawn by my senses. Thank you. Thanks. And then the third thing that it's also what am I free in terms of influence is, am I influenced? Baba is saying the subtle powers of mind, intellect and sanskaras as well. So it's even like the soul, that Purush, is the one who's the sovereign over mind, intellect and sanskaras. And when I hold that awareness, I will be the observer of my sanskaras as well. Because very often we get overwhelmed or we get absorbed by our sanskaras. And so we lose that sovereignty over it. Charlie Bai, I remember once he shared very lovely, he said, right till the end, our sanskaras will pop up, whatever they are, you know. But he said, in a way, A yogi soul is one that can see it come up and not get influenced by it. So I see the sanskara coming up, but I don't let it take over. I observe it, and through the act of observation, it loses its power. As Mike puts it in his book as well, that all emotions die under observation. And that's it. When I learn to observe my sanskaras, then they lose power over me. So being the charioteer, and Baba's really highlighting, is learn to become the observer. The observer of deeply my own sanskaras, and connected with that is when I'm the observer, then it enables me to activate the sanskara of checking. Because it's only through check can there be change. If I'm not alert in that way, then I'm overcome by the sanskara. So very clear methods Baba's giving today, and there's a lot more, but I think I'll just read the Murli, because it's a Murli that we need to go back to and unpack to make it really practical. So the original date of this Murli is the 9th of December 1989. And the title of today's Murli, The Method to Become Yog-Yukt and Yukti-Yukt. So it's like the manual today. Baba's giving us the manual today. Sometimes, they say the idiot's guide to so-and-so. So Baba's giving us the guide to becoming Yog-Yukt and Yukti-Yukt. Today, out of all his children, Bab Dada is seeing two special types of children. One type are of those who are constantly Yog-Yukt and Yukti-Yukt in every action. So the two goes together. If I'm Yog-Yukt, I will be Yukti-Yukt. And the second type are yogis, but neither are they constantly Yog-Yukt, nor are they constantly or naturally Yukti-Yukt in every action. In all the three, thoughts, words, and actions, they are sometimes not Yukti-Yukt in one thing and sometimes not Yukti-Yukt in another. Generally, Brahman life means to be naturally Yog-Yukt and constantly Yukti-Yukt. So I like that Baba saying naturally Yog-Yukt. So remembrance should be natural and constantly Yukti-Yukt. So applying the right method, letting my actions be influenced by God, by Srimad, not anything else. The spirituality, speciality, and reason for being loving and unique in Brahman life is that you are Yog-Yukt and Yukti-Yukt. In Hindi, the words rhyme nicely, pyara or nyara, loving and unique, precious, that's what it means, precious, stands out. In Brahman life is that you are Yog-Yukt and Yukti-Yukt. However, some children are easily and naturally moving forward with this speciality, whereas others, although paying attention, are not able to experience both of these things constantly. What is the reason for this? You all have knowledge. Every one of you also has the same aim. Nevertheless, some come close to the aim, that is, close to experiencing these two characteristics, Yog-Yukt and Yukti-Yukt stage. And some come close to the aim due to making fast efforts. Baba actually used the word fast in English. They are sometimes close, but while moving along, due to one reason or another, they come to a standstill. This is why they do not constantly experience closeness to their characteristics. Out of all the Brahmin souls, who was number one in coming close to this elevated aim? Who was number one? Father Brahma. Which method did he adopt through which he succeeded in this? The easy way to remain constantly Yog-Yukt is to move along while constantly considering yourself to be a charioteer and an observer. So the charioteer and an observer. It was last week, one of the mornings at Amrit Vela, I asked Baba the question, Baba, how did you cope with people betraying you, or people being disloyal, or people being, critical of him, or whatever? Baba had his tests. Even some of the children were reactive towards him. So I feel today's Murli is a reply to that question I asked Baba. But that's it, Baba saying the easy way to remain constantly Yog-Yukt is to move along while constantly considering yourself to be a charioteer and an observer. Two things. All of you elevated souls are the charioteers of those chariots. Each soul is a charioteer who drives a chariot. This consciousness automatically makes you detached from your chariot, that is, from your body. So holding the awareness, I'm the one who's driving the chariot, automatically makes me detached from it. It makes you detached from any type of body consciousness. When there is no consciousness of your body, you easily become Yog-Yukt, and you naturally become Yog-Yukt and Yukti-Yukt in every action. It's almost like we know that one of our greatest challenges is to stay connected and in remembrance especially when we're in action. And it's like slips away then, because we think, okay, now I need to do this. And it's almost like we have to create that deep attention that I'm driving the body to do this. It's like that separation. Then our remembrance will be natural with Baba. Otherwise, it slips. That is our deepest sort of effort, in a way. So when there is no consciousness of your body, you easily become yog-yukt, and you naturally become yog-yukt and yukti-yukt in every action. By considering yourself to be a charioteer, all of your sense organs remain under your control. That is, you develop the controlling power to bring all your sense organs close to the destination of the aim and its qualifications. A charioteer can never come under the influence of any sense organs. When Maya attacks someone, what is her method? Huh? She numbs you. Okay. Maya numbs you, makes you unconscious. She causes influence, to get influenced, yeah. She isolates you. Yeah, interesting. She tempts you. Yeah. Yesterday, Brother Charles and I were playing a game, and it was really the aim of it. You need to have a good strategy, and you have to be 3 steps ahead to apply your strategy. So if we know Maya's strategy, then we won't let her overcome us. So you have to be sharp to understand what is Maya's strategy.
Can I just share my challenge on the game for us?
Yeah.
Are you focusing on preventing the other one from getting ahead, or are you getting ahead?
Yeah.
So the strategy is, which method are you using?
Yeah. So Brother Charles just wanted to share that one of the lessons of that game is, are you focused on blocking the other person from getting ahead, or are you focused on you moving ahead? And so it's very interesting, because if you're so focused on trying to block the other, you get nowhere. So again, it's like, am I looking at other parchintan or swachintan, looking at the self? So Maya's strategy, she makes us look at others. So the method of Maya's attack is that she makes you come under the influence of one sense organ or another, or one of the subtle powers, the mind, intellect, or sanskaras. So I get influenced either by my own sanskaras, my own sense organs, or the sanskaras of another. Instead of being able to discipline your minds with the great mantra which you charioteer souls have received from the Father, she makes you come under an evil influence. Once you are under one evil influence, I giggled when I read the sentence. Once you are under one evil influence, all the other evil spirits then enter. Because, why? Because these evil spirits have a lot of unity with one another. If one evil spirit comes, it will invoke all the others. They don't travel alone, they bring their whole family with. Yeah. What happens then? These evil spirits change you from a charioteer Sarathi to someone selfish, swarthi. So from being a charioteer, I become selfish. I become one who wants, one who needs. Sarathi for charioteer and swarthi for selfish. Swart, selfish. Then, what do? When you have the consciousness of being a chariot, you battle to chase away all those evil spirits. So when I think I'm the body, then I start battling with the evil spirits. This stage of battling cannot be called the Yog-Yukt stage. This is why, instead of coming close to the destination of being Yog-Yukt and Yukti-Yukt, you come to a standstill. And therefore, from being in the first number stage, you become part of the second number. A charioteer is someone who does not come under any influence and who controls his chariot as he drives it. So what are all of you? You are charioteers. Are you not? Sorry?
Charioteer who has a control over his chariot. He is driving it.
That's it.
Very alert chariot.
A charioteer.
Intellects and scholars, they will be all under control.
Exactly. All under control, but I won't get influenced by them. So even if they are there, I don't get, taken over by it. It's even like, I don't know, this thought just comes into my mind, but like, when there's a ghost and it's an energy, but how you can get influenced by it. But some of the Madhuban brothers, they've been asked to help to, free souls from the influence of these spirits and that. And they're not, the key thing I've noticed about them was that they're completely unafraid. It's just like a deep awareness. This is just another soul, And so when they talk to that spirit, they have that very clear awareness. This is just another soul, and they tell them, "Now go away. You've done enough. Go away now." It's like I have heard Raju Bhai's story, and I've heard Atam Prakash Bhai's story, and in India, a lot of that happens. And these brothers, they call to the different centers to help sometimes. But no fear. They're just like... So when I'm in my own sovereignty, then I'm not afraid of sanskaras either. Yes, we can call ourselves the Ghostbusters, eh? Not Casper, Raksha. So Baba's saying, a charioteer means one who is soul conscious. Because it is the soul that is the charioteer. Brahma Baba claimed number one, success by using this method. Therefore, the father also became his charioteer. The father demonstrated being the charioteer practically. Follow the father. He became the charioteer and constantly gave the experience of the extremely loving and detached stage of the life of a charioteer. So if I am in that stage, it will reflect as being loving and detached. Extremely loving and detached stage of the life of a charioteer. The Father enters the body, making it subservient. That is, he becomes the charioteer. He does not become subservient to the body. This is why he is detached and loving. In the same way, all of you Brahman souls must stabilize yourselves in the stage of a charioteer like the Father. As you walk, as you move, check this. And Baba's giving some nice checking points now. Firstly, am I a charioteer? That is, am I the one who makes everything move? Am I stable in the stage of being detached and loving? Check this every now and then. So it's nice. Am I a charioteer? That is, am I the one making everything move? Am I stable in the stage of being detached and loving? Check this every now and then. It shouldn't be that the whole day passes by and you only check this at night. If the whole day has passed by, then the time that has passed for earning an income has been lost for all time. Therefore, don't become conscious after having lost everything. Make these sanskars natural and automatic. Which sanskars? Which sanskars must we make natural and automatic? Those of checking. If you don't check, what will happen? Maya will say, checkmate. Ne, Freddy? Freddy did checkmate for me yesterday. The old sanskars of some, even now, become obstacles to them moving forward in Brahman life. What do you say at that time? Even against my conscious wish, I get influenced by my sanskaras. You still do that which you do not want to. If wrong sanskaras make you perform some wrong type of action, even against your wish, then are you not able to adopt the pure sanskaras of natural checking?
You know, there's a deep this line, because if I don't realize it's me and the sanskaras that's causing challenge and things, then I'll never change. No?
Yeah. So Shelben is just highlighting that if I don't realize that it's my sanskara that's creating the reaction or the discomfort or the dis-ease, then I will never change. You know, it doesn't change. The issue will always be something that I'll be battling with, either with one person or another person, but I will always be in battle mode. Yeah. It's a good thing to check how much am I feeling I'm struggling, or am I battling, or how much do I feel I'm flowing with the drama, you know? Like to check like internally what is my feeling inside. So if wrong sanskaras make you perform some wrong type of action, even against your wish, then are you not able to adopt the pure sanskaras of natural checking? Without having to labor your pure sanskaras of checking will then automatically enable you to carry out that task. You will not say that you forget or that you are very busy. They are impure and wasteful sanskaras. Some children do not have impure sanskaras, but they do have wasteful sanskaras. So I think it's a good checking. We've conquered the impure, but there's still waste that takes away my power. So they are impure and waste. Some children do not have impure sanskaras, but they do have wasteful sanskaras. Some are not able to forget their impure or wasteful sanskaras, even when trying to forget them. And they then say, that was not my intention, but it was my old nature or sanskar. Since you are not able to forget your impure sanskaras, how is it that you forget your pure sanskaras? The stage of being a charioteer automatically brings out the pure sanskaras of making self-progress. And checking then takes place naturally according to the time. That's like a very important point to keep in our awareness.
Read that again.
Yeah. The stage of being a charioteer. So it's just this one effort. The stage of being a charioteer automatically brings out the pure sanskaras of making self-progress, and checking then takes place naturally according to the time. You become compelled by impure habits, whereas by adopting this habit, you will become strong. So did you hear the method to use for remaining constantly yog-yukt and yukti-yukt? Move forward as a charioteer. A charioteer is naturally an observer when doing, seeing, or hearing anything. While doing everything, seeing, thinking, and doing, as a detached observer, you will remain beyond any influence. That is, you will be detached from any effect of Maya. So you have made this lesson firm, have you not? You are the ones who follow Father Brahma, are you not? You love Father Brahma a lot, do you not? We don't just love Father Brahma, we love Father Brahma a lot, do you not? The sign of love is to become equal, that is, to follow him. How much love do all the teachers have for the Father? The Father always considers the teachers to be his close companions in doing service. Sometimes Baba uses the word Guru Bhai, So the one who inherits the Gadi. So Baba sees us like that. It's close companions. So it will be the teachers who follow the Father first, will it not? Always have the aim for this I first. Don't say I first out of jealousy. That causes damage. They are the same words, but it is one thing to say I first out of jealousy. By doing that, instead of coming first, you sometimes become last. So from the first, you become the last. Whereas when you say, I first, in following the Father, and you do that, then, although there is the first number, you too will become among the first number. Brahma is the first number, is he not? So always have the aim that teaches means to follow the Father and become number one in following the Father. So just as Brahma became number one, those who are following him also have to keep the aim of becoming number one. All of you teachers are firm in this, are you not? Do you have the courage to follow? One is to have the aim, but the second is what? To have the courage to take the step towards that aim. It's not enough just to have the aim, but I have to, take that first step. Teachers are those who become instruments. You are instruments for many souls. So how much responsibility there is on those who are instruments. Brahma Baba was the instrument. So many became Brahmins on seeing Father Brahma. In the same way, whatever task you teachers are carrying out, whether it is preparing food or even cleaning, while performing every task, have the awareness. I am an instrument for many souls. People will always do what you do, not what you say. Whatever actions I perform, however I perform them, others who see me, an instrument, will do the same. This is why Bab Dada always says, on the one hand, there is the giving of lectures, and on the other hand, the washing of pots. Be yukta and yukta while doing both tasks. No matter what the work is, let your stage always be yukta and yukta. It should not be that you are yukta while giving a lecture, but while washing dishes, that is, at the time of doing ordinary work, your stage also becomes ordinary. Follow the Father at all times. Did you teachers hear? You are sitting at the front. You like sitting at the front. And so, how beautiful the experience of constantly moving ahead would be. So whenever such strong sanskaras try to make you move backwards, remember this scene. Since you like sitting at the front, why should you remain behind when it comes to moving forward? So when any situation arises, come to Madhuban and put courage and enthusiasm into yourself, because many of those who are to remain behind will come later. If you remain behind, those who come later will then have to be brought forward. It's like the train will have to move, and you either in the front carriage or in the back carriage, but it gets filled up from the front. So if you're not taking the front seat, someone else will take the front seat. So the choice is yours. Therefore, always maintain the consciousness that you are those who will stay at the front. To stay at the back means to become subjects. You don't want to be part of the subjects, do you? You are not Praja Yogis, you are Raj Yogis, are you not? So follow the Father. Acha? What did you say, Raksha? What will the foreigners do? You will follow the Father, will you not? How far will you go? Very far. Will everyone come to the front? Acha, let all those who have come follow the Father and move fast and become first. Don't think that only one will come first. There will be many in the first grade. Will they not? Brahma will be the first number, but you will remain his companions in the first grade. Therefore, claim the first grade. There won't be just one who is the first, there will be many in the first grade. I remember Brother Paul always used to tell us, are you going to be playing with Krishna or are you going to be watching Krishna play with his friends? You know? So, if I'm part of the first grade, I'll play with Krishna. Therefore, don't think that the first number has been finalized and that you can therefore only be the second number. Do not become second grade. Those who take the responsibility are Arjuna, number one. To be Arjuna means to be the first number. Everyone has a chance to come first. Everyone can be part of the first. It is unlimited. The first grade is unlimited. It is not less. So all of you will come in the first, will you not? Are you sure? Never heard Baba say that before. Are you sure? Acha. To those who constantly follow Brahma, Father Brahma, to those who constantly remain Yog-yukt and Yukti-yukt, to those who always become charioteers and make their sense organs move along on the elevated path, to those who constantly remain close to the destination. Bab Dada gives love and remembrance and says Namaste to all such elevated souls. So Baba said, Namaste. And then Bab Dada meeting the indoor group. You have experienced that Bab Dada's elevated directions have enabled you to attain the elevated state of salvation, have you not? As are the directions, so is the salvation. The Father's directions are elevated, and so the salvation you receive from those would also be elevated, would it not? It is said, as are your final moments, so is your destination. Why has this been said? Because the Father only comes at the end of the cycle to give elevated directions. So you take elevated directions in the final moments, and you receive salvation for many births. The unlimited. Mute her, thank you. The unlimited final moments that lead you to your destination of the present time become elevated. So the memorial of this time continues on the path of devotion. With the elevated directions of one birth, you receive elevated salvation for so many births. All the memorials are of this time of the confluence age. Why have the memorials been created? It is because you perform actions at this time while staying in remembrance. It's like the actions performed in remembrance become immortal. It becomes something that becomes worship-worthy. You know, it's quite amazing when you think of it like that, that it becomes like an act worthy of worship. So the memorial of this time continues on the path of devotion. With the elevated directions of one birth, you receive elevated salvation for so many births. All the memorials are of this time of the confluence age. Why have the memorials been created? It is because you perform actions at this time while staying in remembrance. Every action has become a memorial. You wake up at Amrit Vela as a discipline. So the images of your memorial are also awoken as a correct discipline. People awaken them with so much love. They are non-living images, yet people awaken them with so much love in their hearts. They awaken them, feed them, and also put them to sleep. Because you do all of this in remembrance as a discipline at this time. You eat with the discipline of the right method too. You eat after offering bhog, do you not? Or do you eat just like that? It isn't that because you have to give food to someone quickly, you don't offer bhog. We skip up with bhog. If you have to give food to someone before time, you must definitely then take out a share first. It shouldn't be that you give food to someone first and then offer bhog. By eating in the right way, you attain success. You become happy and you easily have constant remembrance. It's like if we do things according to the right method, there's power in it. So it's not just eating food, but having offered bhog and then eating it, then there's power in the food. Otherwise, no matter how nutritious it is, it won't have power. So always to know that using the right method, then there's power in it.
And also for those who brought to Baba's home,
Yeah.
earn their fortune if you offer that food first.
Yeah. Whatever anyone brings to Baba's home, it's very important to offer it before we partake of it, because it's the whole aspect of creating their connection with Baba and letting them earn their fortune from Baba. So there's a meaning in the method. So by eating in the right way, you attain success, you become happy, and you easily have constant remembrance. So from Amrit Vela till night time, whatever actions you perform them with the discipline of remembrance. Only then will you be successful in every action. Success means you will continue to receive the instant and practical fruit of every action. The greatest success of all is to experience supersensuous joy in the form of instant and practical fruit. You will then constantly continue to move along in the waves of happiness and joy. You first receive the instant practical fruit and then the future fruit. The instant and practical fruit of this time is more elevated than the fruit of your future births. If you don't eat the instant and practical fruit now, you will not receive instant fruit throughout the whole cycle. You do something now and you instantly receive the fruit of it. This is known as instant and practical fruit. The fruit you receive in the golden age will also be of this birth, not of another birth. However, whatever fruit you receive now is instant and practical. That is, it is the fruit of the present time. So do not deprive yourself of the instant and practical fruit. Always continue to eat the fruit. You enjoy this practical fruit, do you not? Did you ever think that you would have such fortune? You never even dreamt that you would receive fruit from God. Remember how Baba used to throw the mangoes? If something you have never even dreamt of or thought about happens, you experience so much happiness. Nowadays, when people win a lottery, that is only temporary. They become so happy, whereas this instant and practical fruit becomes the fruit for the future. So you have this intoxication, do you not? It is not sometimes less and sometimes more, is it? Constantly continue to fly in a constant and stable stage. Have you learned how to fly in a second? Or does it take you longer? Is your speed so fast that as soon as you have the thought, you go there? Acha. All of you from the indoor zone, you are all content, are you not? Mothers, are you always content? Mothers, are you always content? Baba's asking. You never become discontented with your Lokik family, do you? Then Baba's asking, do you ever get fed up? Do you get fed up with mischievous children? Never get fed up. The more fed up you get, what will happen? The more trouble they will cause you. It's like your fed up vibrations just invokes the mischief. Therefore, be a trustee and do service as a server. It's like Baba's just giving the method, eh? Be the trustee and do service as a server. When you have the consciousness of mine, you get fed up. My child. And this is what he is doing. So where there is the consciousness of mine, you get fed up. And when you have the consciousness of yours, Tera, you begin to swim. Tarna. So when you have the consciousness of mine, you get fed up. And when you have the consciousness of yours, you begin to swim. Tera and Tarna. So you are those who swim, are you not? Always to say yours means to maintain your self-respect. Such a deep point. It's like my attachments take away my self-respect because I get influenced by that. So always to say yours means to maintain your self-respect. To say mine means to become arrogant. To believe yours means to keep your self-respect. So to stay constantly in your self-respect means to remember to have the consciousness of yours. I own nothing. And because I own nothing, nothing can own me. And so I maintain my self-sovereignty, and that's why I can maintain my self-respect. So to constantly stay in your self-respect means to remember to have the consciousness of yours. Remember this constantly. Acha. Double foreigners too are long lost and now found. There are a few of you. I don't think we're even 100,000 yet. I don't think double foreigners are even 100,000. No. Can you describe how much happiness you have? The Father is unlimited, and so the attainment you have is also unlimited. Therefore, you cannot count anything of the limited. Bapdada is pleased to see the double foreign children who have the speed of intense effort makers. The people of Bharat know about the things of Bharat. However, you people don't know, and yet you have become so close and have become intense effort makers. Therefore, you have performed wonders, have you not? So you have become doubly lucky. What intoxication do the people of Bharat have? That they will become the eternal people of Bharat every cycle. You have the intoxication that the imperishable land is Bharat, do you not? Each one of you has your own intoxication. Everyone will have to come to Bharat, whereas you are already sitting in Bharat. Acha. Om Shanti. We are the original Bharatvasis. Yeah.
I have to send a message to the plants, the Bharatvasis.
Okay. Blessing. May you be a true yogi who gives a vision of the third eye through your forehead. May you be a true yogi who gives a vision of the third eye through your forehead. Shilpin, your hat looks like a turban, so you must put like a diamond tilak there. Then it will like be complete. In the memorials, a third eye is shown on the forehead of a yogi. You true yogi children must constantly stay in the company of the One Father with your intellects in order to grant a vision of the third eye through your foreheads. One is the Father, the second is I, and there is no third person. When you have such a stage, others will have a vision of the third eye. If a third person enters your intellect, the third eye will then close. It will shut down. So, to make sure that your third eye remains constantly open, you have to remember that there mustn't be a third person. And then the slogan, to be full of questions means to become distressed and to distress others. So one is a storm going on in here, but then that storm comes out as well. If you have the right questions, then that's a different matter, So to be full of questions means to become distressed and to distress others. It's like, is my mind in confusion or is my mind in inquiry? If there's inquiry questions, to really understand, it takes me into depth. But if it's just confusion, then it just creates a storm. Acha, Om Shanti. So lots of jewels in this Murli for us to unpack. So let's just take a few moments in silence to digest a little bit, and then we can share. Om Shanti. So, how do we want to unpack today's Murli? There's so many subtle aspects that Baba raised, but I think one thing that I really enjoyed about today's Murli is that Baba's not just giving us the picture of where we need to be, but he's given us a very clear method today. You know, it's very clear what we need to do to get to where we need to get. And it's like if we apply the method Baba's giving, it will naturally take us to that destination. You know, it's like just so easy it felt the way he was sharing today. Yeah. So yeah, what aspect did you like? Anirudh, what struck a chord for you? Anirudh Bhai or Brother Charles? Yeah.
Baba says to have the awareness of being a charioteer, you will naturally be your and you feel it.
Yeah, yeah. It was so amazing, you know, this whole thing. If you just maintain the awareness of being a charioteer, you will naturally be yog-yukt. And then you will be constantly yukti-yukt, you know, so a natural connection, and then everything I will do will be under that influence. Beautiful. Yeah. Charlie Pai.
The aspect of success. Our Baba said that first it's as though you have instant success.
You can
what
take.
is the attitude towards that instant success? Is it like sometimes there could be some fruit, but you're not aware of it, and the attitude is blocking your vision to that instant fruit. Then Baba moved on to a bigger aim of success where he spoke about supersensuous joy. And then I thought about supersensuous joy as the fruit of success. And it's not just supersensuous joy, it's like a deeper understanding of that you achieve the supersensuous joy through a deep sense of balance.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's the supersensuous joy, the bliss that you're experiencing, it's not simply on the basis of why you use that term, it's like the highest experience, but the highest experience comes with the highest kind of endeavors as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a deeper understanding from the different waves that leads to that supersensuous joy.
Gosh, now to summarize this for everyone. So Baba was firstly the whole aspect of success, isn't it? When you apply the right method, get the success, and with that comes that happiness, but the deeper aspects that it leads to a deeper supersensuous joy. And that supersensuous joy, in a sense, what did you share again?
It's like it comes from a balance.
Yeah, it comes from a balance, a state of balance and bliss. Yeah.
And balance is like a lot of internal work to do.
Yeah. So the highest attainment requires the highest endeavor. That's the connection as well. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
I'm checking throughout the day, but I'm only checking at night.
Yeah.
If I'm checking throughout the day, then I can accumulate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, because only at night time passes, and we have lost out in accumulate.
Yeah. Yeah. A good point Baba raised today. Are you checking every now and then, or are you only checking at night? Because there's accumulation and attainment if I check every now and again, and otherwise the time has gone by and I've lost out. Yeah, it's a very nice thing. It's like making the sanskara of checking natural. That was the other aspect. Yeah. Freddie?
I used to not all the time to get to you when I'm working in action, Kava Yoga. And I was trying to if I'm connecting to the source, to power, and the problem, the solution comes. The right method.
Yeah. So when I'm being yog-yukt, then naturally yukti-yukt, and then always in that state of yog-yuktness, the right awareness, the right methods will come to whatever I need to apply. Okay. Pratiba.
So I love the aspect of checking every now and again
Mm.
as I move, as I move and as I do everything,
Yeah.
and as I speak now.
Mm.
And am I being the chariot here? And how do I check? Anyway, I think it's about trying to ensure that all the time I'm remembering of this pure soul. I'm using the pure sanskaras, the ones that are coming in my mind, in my thoughts, in my actions, and everything else is the other ones. When I was saying, are you remembering your pure sanskaras? If you can remember them, how can you forget your
Pure sanskaras.
It's
Yeah.
about being in that
Moment, yeah.
that awareness that the pure sanskaras are what I release here to me, what is natural to me, and then doing things in that way, and then checking that every now and again. And I also liked.
Can I just share that? Otherwise, I'm going to forget completely. So, Brother Dorito was just sharing this whole thing of checking the self every now and then, and really checking that am I using my pure sanskaras? As Baba said, if you can remember your impure sanskaras, why can't you remember your pure sanskaras? So, in every moment, checking that what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, what I'm saying is coming from that place of my pure sanskaras. Yeah. Okay.
The is for me to be with Baba and no third person.
Sorry?
Just be with Baba.
Yeah.
So the father line, there's a third one, then my third line is.
Shuts, yeah. And also the second point is just to be me and Baba and no third person, because if the third person comes, the third eye shuts. It's just such an image, like there's anything else that droops, becomes closed off there. Yeah. Anand Bhai.
Whenever you're doing anything, it's not me that's doing it, it's Baba. Baba says, be always in remembrance. So you don't have that attitude of, I have done that, and then you don't debate with the system that you are doing it to.
Yeah. So always to Anand Bhai's point is always holding that awareness that it's Baba and not I. Yeah. Because if I say I, then it brings up arrogance, Baba said, in a way. And you get fed up. But if you remain the trustee and that it's Baba, you won't get fed up. So it's a good checking point. Anytime I feel fed up, then I know it's the wrong I. Yeah.
When your task is simpler
Yes.
and enjoyable.
Yeah, the task becomes simpler, enjoyable, and it's successful. Success is easy then. There's no labor in it. Yeah, very nice. Mirko Bhai.
That the essence today is to be so conscious, which is our aim. Baba very clearly indicate how easy it is to become, once you're so conscious, to maintain that consciousness that you're a chariot.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know that if you watched on the movies, charioteers, they've got 4 or 8 movies at the time when they're racing in a copper age sometime. You remember that? Did you see that on movies maybe? That charioteer has all the reins in his hands and he probably gives them sign to race faster, to slow down, to turn on the side, not to overturn chariot and so on. I did watch these movies. So in a similar Baba give us all overview. Stay conscious that you are a chariot, but then say, my also score.
I wish everyone could see your expression.
No, but the saying it makes you really completely come under the influence of the body alone. And then Baba says, why don't that time don't you say, my pure sense God, pure soul, Baba's child?
Yeah.
So Baba gave that method, pure sense God,
Yeah.
so to become so conscious. Only so conscious can you maintain being Baba being Karan.
Yeah.
Doesn't.
So Mirko Bhai just sharing that how the essence is to be soul conscious. And as the charioteer, the analogy of this charioteer having total control over the chariot. up to 8 reins or however many horses he has, but complete control, and you can sort of know exactly where you're going, etc. And that the whole thing is keeping that attention, that I recognize whether it's my old sanskaras or my pure sanskaras. And that attention then helps us to invoke the pure sanskaras and not to feel helpless with my impure sanskaras, instead of saying, oh, my sanskara, and feel stuck with it, but to be able to invoke the pure sanskaras. That's good. Tiptiben.
The word rati and swati. Because sometimes selfishness can be very quiet and powerful. And one won't want to say I'm selfish, but it's a deep checking point that if I'm not a rati, then what's my agenda? And if my agenda is not that of being a charioteer, then there is something there. So to really do honest checking between these two words, rati and swati.
Okay. So Diptiben just highlighting what Baba raised in a way, the whole aspect that if I'm not a charioteer, a rati, swarati, then I become swarthi, I become selfish. And that the sanskara of selfishness is like drawing to the self, can be very subtle. It's not always in the visible, but I have to have a deep honesty to see what is happening. If I'm not being the charioteer, then what am I taking? And what am I wanting for the self? It's always like the ego needs to be fed. Selfishness, it is about the ego that needs to be fed. So how am I feeding it? If I'm not being the charioteer. Yeah. It can be royal, subtle. Yeah. And that's the thing about our journey, I think, is that the gross has gone. And now the traces of the sanskaras are still there, but they find clever ways, It's like the virus that mutates. So the vice mutates and finds a different form and becomes more subtle.
Like it disguises itself as virtue externally.
Yeah.
I feel that's the deception.
Yeah. It disguises itself. You explain it as a virtue, and it disguises itself in that way. So I'm still taking. And the easiest checking point is that if I'm affected, that means I'm taking. No matter what it is, no matter how I try to explain it, but if I'm taking, I'm affected. And that means there's a trace of selfishness in there. Yeah. Aruna Be.
This point of stabilizing yourself as the charioteer, and there's just this image of when they depict Krishna, riding the chariot is helping Arjuna come to that realization, why it is that you are there, what it is that you're doing. And so when we're sitting and seated in that soul-conscious stage, there's clarity and there's this naturalness that comes through and allows us to then really just clearly see what is that aim. What it is I need to do, not to allow any influence to come in any way, and this aspect of becoming selfish instead of allowing it to be good for all, so that everyone can benefit from it.
Yeah. So just Aruna been highlighting this thing of being the charioteer and being really stable in that, and the analogy that's used in Bhakti of Krishna, teaching Arjuna in the chariot in a way. So when I'm stable in that stage of being the charioteer, there's clarity, and then the soul can know what to do and where to go, and in a way. It's almost also I was feeling when you were sharing that it's like when I am stable in that stage of soul consciousness as the charioteer, Baba can touch my intellect, otherwise Baba can't touch my intellect. And so that's the whole analogy of Krishna guiding Arjuna, because he is a self-sovereign in that state. And then I'll be naturally yukti-yukt. So there won't be selfishness then and getting influenced, but there's that clarity. Yeah.
I found it fascinating when Baba was saying that how we use I first, that if it's I first out of jealousy. And so just to check my motive, why am I putting myself first in that way? Is it triggered by something external? Or because I'm feeling insecure, so I create that sense of security? But if it is that method or the motive, then I'm going to actually be behind. Externally it might seem different, but in like the records, I'm behind. So just to see what's motivating me at every moment. Is it coming from a pure space, or subtly there's these elements of vices? And then I like how Baba.
Can I share that? Then otherwise I'll forget the second part. So Anita was just sharing the whole aspect of I first, and Baba asking us to check, is the I first on the basis of jealousy? Because if it is on the basis of jealousy, externally I may come first, but in the records I'm actually putting myself behind. So a deep checking on the self, that what is my deeper intention. And I think in a way Baba says, really am I first in following Baba, not I first in the external aspects. Yeah. Thanks.
And that was sort of my next point, where Baba was talking about Brahma Baba. And so do I have the courage to take the responsibility of following Brahma? And I was thinking of it, that's my responsibility. And so that was a lovely insight for me in terms of what do I call this being responsible for. Because otherwise it's the my center, my this, my that, which will then take me away.
Yeah, yeah. So a nice insight that my true responsibility then is also to check, do I have the courage to follow Brahma Baba? And that is my ultimate responsibility, is to follow Brahma Baba. Otherwise, even the word responsibility can become an extension of my attachments or my ego, my this, my that. And I think, I have to do it because it's my responsibility. But ultimately, it's a nice insight that my true responsibility is to follow Brahma Baba. Yeah. Sister Shirley.
The work today's Murli, the inner work that one has to do about being the charioteer. As I walk, as I move around, the awareness of I, the charioteer, using this chariot and operating this body. If that work has to really, really be done and finish the layers and layers and layers of body consciousness, then I come to that stage. Today, a very powerful awareness of the memorial of remembrance. And that memorial, there's so much power in remembrance when there's nothing else of body consciousness that comes on the way. And then remembrance is natural, and then it becomes power, and then it's a memorial for others to take benefit and sustenance from as well through that remembrance, and everything becomes success and magic.
Beautiful. So Shelben was just sharing this whole aspect, the deep inner work we need to do to really establish that awareness and practice of being the charioteer, and so that we can tap into those pure sanskaras and remove the layers of body consciousness. And that as a result of that deep inner work, then there's remembrance, and then when whatever we do in remembrance becomes powerful, and that those actions then become a memorial that then inspires others. So I also like this whole aspect that if we do that work of just stabilizing as a charioteer, the other things naturally emerge. The remembrance naturally emerges, the pure sanskaras naturally emerges, and then it becomes such a powerful memorial. Yeah. Sister Raksha.
I also like just this aspect of checking these two, that am I a charioteer throughout the day, and accordingly then whether I'm detached and loving. And I like the aspect that when I stay in that awareness, then pure sanskars will emerge.
Yeah.
And this lovely play of selfishness versus charioteer.
Yeah.
And how in any form of when I switch off that light, I become selfish and I'm absorbing and being influenced. But when I switch on that light and I'm the charioteer, then I influence and I support and uplift.
Yeah.
And I liked this whole aspect of what erodes your self-respect is when there's I. But when there's yours, then when you have that awareness of trusteeship, then the deep attention will ensure that your self-respect is stable.
Yeah.
And keeps improving.
So Raksha was just sharing also the points on checking the self. Am I being a charioteer? Am I always the one who's moving the body? And the second point was that when I maintain that attention, then also it will be reflected as being detached and loving. I like that connection as well, that if I'm a charioteer soul conscious, I'll naturally be detached and loving. And then the pure sanskaras will emerge as a result of that. And also the play on words, selfish and being the charioteer, and that really if I'm not aware in that sense, then I'll be taking and then I get influenced. But if I maintain that awareness, I give naturally and I serve in that sense, yeah. And that my self-respect is deeply connected with this aspect of being a trustee. If I think mine, that's it, my self-respect's gone. Yeah.
And it's like, shortcuts. Like Baba was saying, sometimes if we have to give someone food and we quickly give them and we won't offer the bowl.
Yeah.
But when I'm in that powerful stage and pure sanskaras,
Yeah.
I'll never take shortcuts.
Yeah. So Shobin's just highlighting as well that I won't take shortcuts, like giving someone food before offering it for bhog, and that there's like a kind of a natural attention on being accurate, not from a feeling of the heaviness of the effort, but from a feeling of a natural expression of it. Yeah, because I understand the value and I see the value. Yeah. Kalpana.
Aspect of a charity is one who is not
Let's close the
under
door.
influence, and also how Baba gave us that lovely thing that if any situation comes, just come to Madhvan. So take your awareness to Madhvan and you will feel the ease of which to deal with whatever you're having to go through.
Yeah. So Baba said, if anything comes up, just come to Madhuban. Take the power from Madhuban, and then you'll be able to deal with whatever needs to with ease. And I think one is, yes, physically, we all now looking forward to getting to Madhuban. But one practice that I've had, which I've found very useful, is just with my mind at Amrit Vela. I went to Madhuban. Often I would just sit at the Tower of Peace or Baba's room or the history hall or wherever. And it's like holding this awareness wherever I take my mind, that is my reality. And so just taking myself to where I need to be in Madhuban. Okay, wonderful. So there's been some points in the chat. Anybody wants to unmute and share? So Brother Kadravelan has shared, the stage of being a charioteer automatically brings out the pure sanskaras. For making self-progress and checking then takes place. And then Brother Mari said, the driver is always driver conscious so that he can steer or apply brake while driving, checking dashboard meters. Likewise, I need to be checking my organs and subtle organs, not to deceive me and to enjoy the journey. Yeah. And that's a nice point, that when I am attentive, I enjoy the journey. Otherwise, there'll be bumps and crashes and adrenaline rushing up and down all the time. But when I'm in control and steady, then I enjoy the journey.
Just an announcement, Thursday is a holiday and we will offer Borg start at 7.
7. Okay.
And Yogesh Pai is going to read Murli on Thursday.
For us.
for
Oh,
South
wonderful.
Africans.
Yeah. So nice announcement, news for everyone, that on Thursday, since it's a public holiday, we will start Murli at 7 o'clock. We'll offer Bhog at 7, and Brother Yogesh from Turkey will be reading Murli for all of us. Okay. Om Shanti. So, if there's no one who wants to share, let's have some yoga. Thank you.
Here we go again, asking the same old questions, facing the same stuff, wondering when it's all gonna leave us alone. And here we go again, denying we ever knew the truth, or blame is a disease that separates you from love. And when you're down and formless as a cloud, drifting out
Shanti all and have a lovely day. Be the charioteer and ride your chariot with ease and in remembrance. Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.